Joining me now, 2-0 professional MMA fighter Keanan Kellar. He takes on Kyran Cameron at Battlefield Fight League 66, March 19th, live on UFC Fight Pass. How cool is that, man? UFC Fight Pass.
Oh, it was extremely cool. I didn't think it was going to happen as fast as it did into my pro career, but I'm happy to be here. I look forward to putting on a show on it.
For sure, man. Now, looking through your record, I mean, I've seen you all the way from like your first few amateur fights and whatnot, but as a pro, things haven't necessarily gone your way. I said, yeah, you're 2-0. You've had a kickboxing fight in there as well. But the amount of canceled fights that have been on your professional career, I mean, we've got like five just on Tapology. I'm sure there were plenty more other than what's listed on there. Just talk about how frustrating it is that you haven't been able to land fights prior to even this quarantine.
Oh, it's extremely frustrating. And even before I had all the fight cancellations, I had like a year off injury. So I went from the year off injury to having a year where no one was either taking fights with me or they were backing out 2 weeks before the fights. And then the COVID fucking crisis happened. And yeah, it's just been tough. I think I've only had like 4 fights in a matter of 3 years, and that's not very active, but I've been like actively pursuing fights that entire time, except for the 1 year I was injured.
So you, as I said, you had a kickboxing match amongst those little different ones. We saw Battlefield posted a little video that I did with you post fight after that kickboxing performance. You said your grappling game, people are going to get to see that the next time you're in your professional MMA career. Obviously, that didn't happen. They didn't get to see any grappling. But just talk about how well rounded your game has become since that fight. Just going forward, you've had so much time to prepare for this. Talk about the progression of Keanan Kellar.
I feel like I'm more well-rounded now than I've ever been. I always had good striking and good jiu-jitsu, but now I've bridged the gap with my wrestling with Sean Albrecht and Navid Zengane, and I'm just actively always improving my striking and my grappling. On top of that, uh, you're going to see by far the best of me in this fight. I've been performing excellently, and my body's in top shape. Like, I've never been in better shape on top of everything.
That's what I was gonna say. I spoke with your roommate and training partner Josh Kwiatkowski earlier, and he spoke about the same thing. Both you guys are sort of in the same boat in terms of conditioning, strength and conditioning, eating right. What do you attribute all that to? Because man, you look like you're in the best shape of your fighting career.
Uh, First off, Garrett Johnson has been our strength and conditioning coach. He's been running us through crazy good workouts this entire camp, and even well before the camp, he was working with us, getting us into phenomenal shape. Uh, Him, and then just hard work, man. Just training your ass off all the time, like 3, 4 sessions, sometimes a day, 6 days a week. When I was outside of camp, sometimes I'd go even like 21 days without taking a rest day, just because I don't know, my body just didn't feel tired, and I was able to do it.
Talk about how this fight lined up. As I said, you're fighting Kyran Cameron, a guy who's 4-0. He's out of Ontario. It's probably the first time that you're fighting a guy that far out, not necessarily a local cat. And as I said, it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. Just tell me how this fight came into fruition.
Well, it kind of feels similar to the last fight I had because I fought a guy from Portland, which is a lot closer than Toronto, but still in the States on the other side of the border and whatnot. Um, we were originally supposed to be fighting Bobby Poulter, and then their management company didn't like that fight, so they gave us Kieran. Um, Either guy I feel like it can destroy. I'm going to look to show that I can beat what they think is the better man because they clearly pulled Bobby for a reason. Um, and yeah, that's basically how this fight came to fruition. I didn't hesitate at all to say no or yes. I said yes immediately, and he did the same. It seems like on his end.
He's a guy that's fought all of his professional fights under the BTC banner. You've fought for a number of different promotions. Have you been able to find much footage on him? And is that something that you like to do, or you just focus on yourself?
Yeah, he's got all 4 of his pro fights up, and I think he had a couple, maybe 1 or 2 amateur fights up there. Uh, Not really overly impressed with what I saw on his tape. He does have very good boxing, very good hands, but overall, I don't think he's that good elsewhere in martial arts. He's just going to try to get in the pocket and bang. And that's a terrible style to fight me with. I'm going to keep you at range with my kicks and legs. Second you close the distance, I'm either going to grab you, elbow you, or knee you.
We know you're typically tall for your weight division. I'm not sure. It's not listed what this guy is. His height is. Do you know what it is?
It says it's 6'1" on Tapology, but I think he's shorter than that. I don't think he's like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Fuck. It doesn't really matter. But I've been fighting guys that have been like 220 pounds on fight night. My last 5 fights have been guys at middleweight. I was walking around at like 189 on fight night fighting those guys. But if he's 6'1", if he's 6'4", if he's 5'9", doesn't really matter. I think he's around 6 foot range.
Being that this fight is on UFC Fight Pass, like I mentioned, did that bring a number of different avenues in terms of sponsorships? Because it's going to be in front of that many more eyes.
Yeah, I've got a handful of sponsors, which is something I didn't really have for prior fights. I had some sponsors when I was living in Terrace, which was like my first 3 amateur fights. But once I moved down here, it was a little bit tough for me because I wasn't like a local guy. No one knew me. Well, I find a lot of the fighters down here, they get sponsorships because they grew up with people who have businesses now, and then it kind of helps and that sort of stuff. I didn't really have that luxury, but now that I'm on Fight Pass, I'm able to promote and market myself a lot better because it's obviously a great broadcasting site to like put your company on or whatever. And yeah, people have been picking me up for it.
Now you said you were training like immensely throughout quarantine and whatnot, 21 days straight without a rest and stuff like that. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the COVID-19 pandemic and what training's been like for you. Talk about your fight camp because things are a little different than what they were previously.
Yeah, for the first bit when the coronavirus hit, it was really tough because I was when everything was completely locked down, this and that. But even then, me and a small group of people, one of them was a high level black belt, were getting in work. So it didn't really ever feel like I was falling back. I still felt like I was ever improving, even through those first 6 months. And then around like June area, when stuff started opening back up again, I was able to find certain groups to train with, just small little groups, but they were like groups of high level people. And honestly, I felt like it was almost better training than before, because before I was doing a lot of training in big classes, like before the coronavirus thing. You'd end up training with a lot of like normals that like no offense to them, they're just casual people. They're just looking to get a workout in and stuff. Whereas now it's been strictly with fighters, and I feel like that is obviously way better.
For sure. I noticed that you're striking. You've been doing a lot of work with Dan Golkar. Is this the first camp that you've used him for your striking?
Yeah. Sadly, I did part ways with my old team. Uh, just there's some complications there. I don't want to elaborate on any of it, and there's
Fair enough.
nothing major. But I'm with a new team now. I'm with Scorpion, I'm with Ascension, and I'm with Universal. Dan's head striking coach, Sean's head grappling coach, and then I got Dade and Kajik as my secondary coach and like training partner and friend. And like I'm getting in work with Naveed Zangani now from Scorpion with my wrestling. And then I got Lift Run Cook doing my strength conditioning. I have like a group of 5 coaches, and they're all like high level, really good at what they do. It's been a phenomenal this camp with these guys.
As I said earlier, we haven't seen you since your decision victory against Johnny James at Mamba Fight Night 8, beginning of 2020. So it's been, over a year since we've seen you in the cage. Obviously, you've grown as a fighter. Let people know who are watching this what they can expect to see out of you on UFC Fight Pass.
Expect to see by far the best version of me. Expect to see the hungriest version of me, and expect to see the most aggressive and intent to hurt version of me. I want to put on a show for UFC Fight Pass, and right now my confidence is sky high. I feel like I'm just going to walk through this guy. I'm prepared for a horribly tough fight as well, but I just don't see it going that way. I think my skill set's just too vast compared to him.
It's awesome. Can't wait to see you in there, man. The floor is yours right now. Just let people know where they can find you on social media, as well as any sponsors you want to give shout outs to.
Well, right now I lost my Facebook, so you can't find me there anymore. Old account that I had from when I was 14, couldn't recover it on my new phone, so it's history. I'm just on Instagram now, Kyran Cameron. That's basically my only social media account right now, but I'm pretty busy on there, I guess you could say. Other than that, I want to thank my coaches, Dan, Sean, Dan, Naveed, Skunky, Garrett. And yeah, I hope to do my hometown proud up in Terrace, and I look forward to putting on a show soon.
Good luck, man. I can't wait to see you UFC Fight Pass in front of whoever knows how many viewers, man. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see you back inside the cage.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on the show, brother.
100%.